Hey, let's take a little tutorial lesson on how, for this section, 11.3 of this note, I'm going to fill in some of these pictures because didn't do it by hand. Figured this would be helpful for me to write them in so you could see sort of how I draw them. Got my headphones on, so hopefully I'm not talking too loud or too quiet. Okay. So let's start off by drawing a simple cell. It goes one line, one small line, just like that. A 2-cell battery is just going to be that repeated. So alternating big and small lines, 1 cell, and then draw it twice for 2. Connecting wire is, I'm going to get my ruler. I'm going to draw it straight. Connecting wire is just a straight line, which is handy. Open switch. I always like to just do a dot, a line going up, and then another dot. Remember that open means that the switch does not allow electricity to pass. Closed switch then, just a dot, straight line, and another dot. Closed versus open. Then light bulb. I can't draw light bulbs very well. I sort of just do it like that with a circle around it. Looks sort of like an M with little 2 loops there. Light bulbs don't have to be perfect. Mine aren't, but it looks just like that. A resistor can do a dot and then just some jagged lines. Doesn't matter how many, just a couple of just pointy jagged lines. It's important that they're not wavy, so they should be kind of pointed. And just a couple, enough so that we can tell what it is. An ammeter, nice and easy. A with a circle around it. Voltmeter. V with a circle around it. Well, we're not going to use it too much. The AC power source, just a circle with a wavy line in it. So wavy line, circle around it for alternating current power source. Most of the time we will be using cells and batteries for our power. So those are the symbols in there. You can also use page 457 to help you fill those in. So why don't we practice drawing an actual circuit diagram now that we've practiced some of the symbols. I'll use one of the questions from the end of section 11.3. I'll use from the homework, I'll do the question number 1. Draw the following series circuits. So this is 11.3. And then the homework number 1. Hopefully you can see some of the writings on the other side, but my diagram will come through. Draw the following series circuits. A 2-cell battery, 1 closed switch, and 3 lamps connected in series. Alrighty, so let's start with the 2-cell battery. Let's draw the battery. I personally like to do the battery at the very top. So 2 cells, which means long line, small line, long line, small line for the 2 cells in the batteries. Then it says 1 closed switch and then 3 lamps. So why don't we add some wires? And we can put these wherever we like. There's no right or wrong spot to put them as long as they're included in the circuit. So to draw a wire, I will extend it from the battery off to the side. And then I'm actually going to create my one side of the rectangle by using my ruler and going down. But I'll put my switch on this pathway. And it's closed. So I'll draw a line down until some point I feel like, and then I'll stop. I'll do my dot, my line, and then my other dot for my closed switch. And then I'll continue the wire just a little bit further. And then I have part of my rectangle. What I'll do next is I will draw my bottom portion of the wire, and I will draw it along going this way. And this is where I will put my bulbs. So I'll start the wire, connect over here, and I'll draw my first bulb. Or lamp, same thing. There's 3. So I draw the first one, up, sort of loop, loop, and then down. And then we will continue on with the wire. Circle around the bulb. Then just a little bit of space in between. Do the same thing. Up, oops, oh boy. See, I can't draw here, guys. Just a little line. And then over a bit, circle. Notice this terrible drawing, but can you tell what that is? I can tell that I'm trying to draw a bulb here. I don't really mind too much about little mistakes like that as long as I can tell what you're trying to draw. Then we'll do our third bulb, a bit more space, so not very evenly spaced because guys, again, I'm not an art teacher here. So it goes up straight and then loops over, loop over, loop over. There we go. And then over and then circle. And that's 1, 2, 3 bulbs. So all we need in this circuit is a 2-cell battery, a closed switch, 3 bulbs or lamps, and then that's it. So let's complete this wire just to the side. And then I will draw it straight up to fix the other side of the rectangle. And my ruler is a little bit broken. You can see it's not a straight line, but again, that's okay. And then let's actually connect to the other side. And that's how we draw a circuit diagram. Couple notes of, let's talk about how messiness and how this works. I've included all of my components. That's very important from the question. Okay, so that's, as long as I have all my components, then we're good. Lines are straight. Notice that my ruler wobbles a bit over here, but you can, and then my lines don't connect exactly over on some places, but these lines are straight. No one's going to say that they're not straight. So we have all components that are listed. We have straight lines that are drawn. We have a rectangular shape. 3 major things to consider when drawing these. Make sure that you have everything that the circuit says. Make sure everything's straight and neat, and it should be in a rectangular shape like this. So we have and then remember that this is a 3-volt battery, not super necessary, and you don't need to put labels for the names of anything else. And this is a series circuit. Hopefully this is helpful. Get some practice drawing them, the other ones. Let me know if you have problems. Hello. Why don't we continue from 11.3, but let's do the homework number 3. This time for a parallel circuit. Draw the following parallel circuit. A 1-cell, 1.5 volt, an open switch, and then 3 lamps connected in parallel. To start, we will do our 1-cell, so just a single cell. So that's going to be a straight line and then a smaller one. We don't need to write the voltage. An open switch and then 3 lamps in parallel. So let's do something similar to what we did with our series circuit from before. Whoops. You can see it up there. I'm going to draw one wire going to the side, and then I'm going to put the switch on this pathway down here. Use the straight part of my ruler. I'll put it on the straight pathway down to a dot. Now this says an open switch. Switch goes like that, and then we draw the other dot. Doesn't matter if this doesn't line up properly, but I can clearly tell that this line does not touch this dot, hence the switch is going to be open. And then let's continue down to the bottom. Now, our parallel bulbs are going to be a little different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw one bulb first, and then I'll show you how to draw the other ones in parallel. So just like before, we'll continue the wire because we do need a series pathway. Then we draw one bulb up here, which will be our main path bulb, and we'll do a circle around it. That's our main path bulb. Notice what I'm going to do next though, just for ease, and because there's nothing else in the circuit, I'm going to continue that line. Oops, I didn't need to go that far. I'm going to continue that line so you can see. And then I'm actually just going to complete the circuit. Oops, as I shake everything. And then my circuit's going to be completed just like this. So I did this on the other diagram. Notice that this wire pops up just a little bit, and I obviously drew a little bit over here. One of the reasons for that is I'm drawing in pen. I'm drawing in pen so you can see it clearer. If I did in pencil, it'd be harder to see. You should not be drawing in pen. Draw in pencil, and then that way you can just erase that little bit, and you can erase that little bit. You don't have to scribble and make it all messy. So pencil is going to be another key component for this. So I'm just going to scratch this a little so that you know that you don't have to use them. But that is a little messy. But you can see that it's not too bad. So you make a little mistake like that, just kind of, you can put it out like that. Okay. Single cell, open switch, 3 bulbs in parallel. But why did I complete this circuit, you may ask? Well, to connect in parallel, we don't need the rest of the circuit. So we know what it's going to look like. It's going to look just like that. Let's draw these other bulbs in parallel. I'm going to do this a very simplified way. Just to sort of show the ease, I'm going to put all wire connection points sort of matching up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue this wire here. What this means then is I have, if you want to count up the individual wires, this is one wire here, right, to this bend point. Then this is another wire, right, connected to this, and then a wire here, and then a wire here, and then we have 2 wires, one coming off this way and one coming off to the bottom. So I draw it down, I draw this side down, make sure that they meet up, and then I draw another horizontal pathway. I left a lot of space in here, which you don't really need. And then we just draw over, and then up, loop, loop down, just like that. And then just connect the other side. And then circle. So these bulbs are connected in parallel to each other. See how that works? Because there's a branch point. So I did it like this just to keep it nice and neat. Not super imperative that you do that, but this might make things a bit easier to see, right? If you just keep everything in a nice, even box. If you start drawing little smaller rectangles off top of it, it makes it a little messier. So I would recommend doing this. But there's 3 bulbs, so we have to do another one. Won't take up as much space this time. Do the lines in any order. There's no right or wrong. I'm only interested in the final product, remember, right? So as long as you've drawn it with those specifications, those things we talked about, then I will be happy. Up, loop, loop, down, over, circle around the bulb, and then continue. And then continue there. So, what do we have? Single cell battery, open switch, 3 light bulbs connected in parallel. So this is now our parallel circuits. So again, all the components are there, all the lines are straight, and I've created more or less a big rectangle with some pathways on it. This is how you can do it neat and tidy. I would recommend doing it like this, to get practice with it, and then you'll eventually develop your own style as you go. Okay, again, hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have questions.